Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, guys, we're going to be diving down into the world of VeChain to talk specifically about the price action of VET. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, done, and out of the way, let's dive down into the charts here and take a look at what is going on with VeChain. Okay guys, so we're going to kick things off with this weekly chart, and we're really going to pay attention to these impulsive moves, right? So for anyone who's been around on the channel for a while, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. For the new guys, basically the bull run's made up of 5 impulsive moves here for VeChain, basically starting back in March of 2020. Good impulsive move number 1, followed by a correction, followed by impulsive move 3, correction for 4, and now we are looking for 5, okay? And basically wave 1 peaked in August, wave 2 was the low area of November, early November, end of September, and then we started to heat up in November. The high of 3 came in April, and then we had the pullback, which kind of bottomed out with a bit of a double tap, really, or triple tap, I should say, May, June, and July. This then started to see good traction to the upside. In August, pullback for September in the same way that we saw previously. And now, as we come to the end of October, we are looking for traction to the upside in the same way that there was with November last year. Okay, so things are looking pretty interesting from that kind of perspective. We have the cup and handle almost invalidated at a 40% or 48% retracement, and the time that's going on here, it's getting difficult and more difficult, I should say, to kind of see this one actually play out. So I think the cup and handle has pretty much been invalidated at this point. It's very unlikely that we'll head to the 22-cent zone, which is unfortunate, from that pattern. But I do think that a parabolic move is likely to occur very, very soon, in the very same way that we saw at the beginning of this year. So overall, these 5 impulsive moves are forming the structure of the bull run for VeChain and many other altcoins as well. And here we can see that the structure is very much intact. It's looking very, very good, and I am anticipating a good run to the upside. Okay, so in the same way that we had with wave 2, we have a very similar kind of sideways trade out of this one with wave 4 as we enter into this 5th wave. Now, we obviously do have some interesting targets associated with this weekly chart, right? We have $1.20 for VeChain. Now, to get to $1.20, we haven't just plucked a number out of thin air. We have actually used a trend-based fib. So we take a look at this entire structure of data within our weekly chart. We say, okay, show me the downtrend that we had for wave 2, show me the uptrend that we had for wave 3, and show me that downtrend for wave 4. When we take into consideration the low of wave 2, the high of wave 3, and the low of wave 4, we can actually then place in a Fibonacci retracement tool that will predict out how high things are likely to go in wave 5. Okay, so based on the downtrend for wave 2, uptrend for wave 3, and the downtrend for wave 4, where do we see wave 5 going? Okay, and for that, we actually see VeChain on the 4.236 extension coming in at $1.20. Now, that's pretty much the maximum. Based on all the trends that we can see inside the data here, $1.20 seems to be the maximum number that we can get to with VeChain, okay? So again, a nice area to be had, but obviously we might want to be more conservative, in which case our daily chart uses a Fibonacci just on the high of 3 and the low of 4. This allows us to basically see $1.01, okay? So one way or another, we are seeing VeChain move up to that $1 threshold. We're about a 661% move to that dollar level at the moment. So everything on this weekly chart is very well structured out. It looks very, very good. And basically a 399-day move from March 2020 through to April 2021 was an 18,295% in gains, significantly higher than Bitcoin, Ethereum, better than even things like Cardano in terms of gains for that particular time period. And obviously, by the time we actually finish this bull run and moving up to $1.20, with gains with VeChain will be very, very significant. Now, if you're not familiar with VeChain, I do urge you guys to do some research. There's a lot of FUD circulating around what VeChain is and what VeChain isn't. It is not a China-based centralized blockchain technology. It is a truly global-based blockchain technology based in Singapore, and it has governmental deals in China, obviously. That's where a lot of the FUD kind of comes from. But they are also heavily integrated with many enterprises truly globally. Okay, so from the US through to Europe, the UK, even across Asia and China as well, obviously. Heavily integrated with big players like BMW, Renault, H&M, Walmart China, No Seafood over in the US, just to name a few. They started off with supply chain and they expanded massively out of there as well. Heavily integrated with big players like PwC and DA&VGL. These are the kind of organizations that are truly global that you don't want to bet against, at least in my opinion. These are the true heavyweights of the enterprise world. So it's important that we understand that actually, VeChain's moving mountains in terms of what is going on. And most recently with the former director of Deloitte going ahead and actually joining VeChain to head up the technology aspect of it, I think is another huge milestone to show you the level of adoption that is coming. To see a huge player like that in the world of just everything that's kind of going on with VeChain. I can't even articulate just how powerful this technology is going to be in the future. For that reason, I'm very heavily invested in VeChain, and I will be locking in my profits this year, and I will be buying back in the bear market even heavier than I had done previously. This is a project that is, there's only one in the world that's a 5-star rated blockchain service provider, and that is VeChain. So go ahead and do research on it, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Now, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Chris is not a financial advisor. So it's important that you do that research. There's no one's going to do it for you, and cut through the FUD and actually learn the facts about these projects. Okay, so with all that said, let's jump down into the daily, right? Because this is where we actually start to see a little bit more of what's been going on with VeChain. Now, to start with, obviously, we take the high of 3, the low of 4. This shows us moving out to $1.01. Okay, so based on that, just that one trend, that downtrend that we saw from Bitcoin from 65K down to 28K, that shows you with $1. Okay, so again, progressing nicely. The cup and handle looks like it's invalidated. Just why it's been taking so long to kind of trade sideways. So the 22 cent will have to happen in a slightly different method. So this particular pattern won't play out. Doesn't mean that another one won't. And the journey to the upside is getting quite interesting. We see the stochastic RSI is dropping all the way down to oversold right now, coiling up for a big move to the upside. I don't think we're quite ready for that. I do expect another pullback before we actually start this surge to the upside, and we'll get into that in a moment on the smaller time frame. But ultimately, everything on this daily chart is looking pretty good. We started to see good recovery. We had the pullback. We started to push back up again to try to complete that handle. Went a little bit too deep with our handle itself, though, and we started to trade sideways. Found good support, and I don't think it's going to be long before we get another huge surge to the upside in the same way that we just had with Anchor after such a long period of time of trading sideways. So everything's looking pretty good, heating up nicely, and some good targets associated with it, right? Heading out towards 1 cent. If you want to be conservative, make sure you lock in that profit at $1.01. And if you want to make sure you get every last dime out of the market, and more open to a little bit more risk, then $1.20 is where probably the peaking of the bull run is likely to occur here with VeChain in early 2022. So let's jump down into our hourly, and this is where we actually start to see some interesting moves that are going on. So I started to draw this one out. So obviously we saw the pullback down. We are obviously right here, just inside this B wave at the moment, and we are overbought. So I'm expecting us to actually have a pullback down to complete this C wave just down here. Okay, so basically we hit a nice high area. We've pulled back down. We have wave A. We pushed up for wave B. We're looking to pull back to wave C. This actually should come down to about 12.5 cent in that kind of range before we then have another ABC move to the upside. This is one particular theoretical play that we could have. Basically an ABC up, an ABC down, an ABC up, an ABC down, right? This triangular wedge kind of getting formed before we have that explosion to the upside. This one play doesn't mean it's going to play out this way. Once we actually have this correction down here, we could actually start to see an impulsive move to the upside, right? Breaking out of this trend altogether. So there's a couple of things that are going on here. We won't know for sure until we get to the top of our wave B, okay, which is this one just up here. And again, that should actually either breach past some of these expected areas, approximately around, if I draw that on there, it could be as high as 13.8 cent, or it could be coming in around the area of 13.7. So it's going to be in that zone. If we go past 14 cent, though, I'm pretty confident. Obviously, if we go higher than 14 cent, we're going to invalidate that, and we'll just be looking for a push to the upside overall. So again, we're monitoring this to see if this is a play that we actually start seeing here with VeChain, a pullback, and then obviously get into this triangular wedge, this Elliott wave triangle, before pushing up to the upside in a really massive way, in the same way that we saw with both Harmony One that played this pattern out, and Anchor recently also played a very similar pattern with a big surge to the upside. Although a little bit unexpected, it blasted through a lot of my targets targets. Some interesting volumes will coming in for anchor, but nonetheless, overall, VeChain could be in a very similar position as it enters into November and absolutely crushes some of these price targets and resistance and support levels on that journey to the upside. So guys, I think if we're ever in doubt, it's important that we do zoom out, we pay attention to what is going on with our weekly chart. This is the cheat sheet. This shows us everything that is going on from a bigger point of view. We don't have to worry about all the noise on the hourly or the daily, and we get good structure and a good push to the upside overall, where we can see $1.20 as the theoretical top here for VeChain. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.